not sleeping. Boss at plant board, he's just kidding. Alrighty, today is March 25th, 2026, and this is our 5 o'clock Fiscal Court work session. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty, I believe to kick things off tonight is a blessing from Father Peter. So, well, it looks like he's got a little partner with him today.
He's going to do the prayer. I'm just the driver.
Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you for the opportunity. Let us pray. Yes. God, I give you thanks for these folks who are here, who care enough to do this work, this hard, contentious work. I ask your blessing upon them. May they be able to listen, even during these times where it's easier to shout and fight than to calm down. May they do that. May they continue to make wise provisions for your people here, particularly the least among us who struggle the most. Thank you for them. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. Alrighty, next we're gonna, is there any public comments? Is anybody here to speak in the public comment section? Seeing none, I believe our very own Melanie with the Josephine Sculpture Park is with us. How are you doing tonight?
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah. I'm here to give my annual presentation and let you guys know about all the fabulous things we've been doing over the past year and some of the great things we have scheduled for coming up for this year, and to thank you for your ongoing support of Josephine Sculpture Park, and the partnership I think is off to a great start, and I'm feeling really great about that. And we've had some good meetings on the Parks Committee and working on some projects and ideas, so I feel like that's all headed in the right direction and very positive, so thank you. And let's see, Andrew has my presentation coming up. Somehow it's going to happen. There we go. Thank you all. And of course, I'll go through some of this pretty quickly. I know I have about 10 minutes, and then if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer questions. So I wanted to share with you just some information about the programs and impact that we've had over the last year. So Andrew, if you want to go to the next slide, we'll dive right in. Thank you. As you know, Josephine Sculpture Park is the first and the largest sculpture park in the state of Kentucky. We're very proud of that, and we have about 80 sculptures at the sculpture park by artists from around the globe, and we have about 30,000 annual visitors, and the park is free and open every single day of the year from dawn until dusk. We now operate in partnership with Franklin County Fiscal Court, and we're really excited about that. You can go to the next slide, please. So we have about 860, 900-ish students that attend through a variety of field trips every year. Those are free field trips. We offer additional guided opportunities and workshops depending on the age group, the ability, the budget. If they want to do more like a classroom or kind of workshop hands-on activity, we offer that as well. But a lot of the students and the schools really take advantage of the fact that we're free, and we encourage that, and we offer pretty robust core curriculum opportunities through the website that are also free for teachers. So if they want to download those and use those, they certainly are encouraged to do that. A lot of the faculty also create their own curriculum, which is really great because they've been to the park year after year and they know what to expect and what their students are going to experience out there. So that's really exciting. One of the new opportunities that we started last year was a partnership with Red Oaks Forest School, and they offer a free art club the second Saturday of every month, and that's all ages and all abilities. So people can just register with them, and they provide all the materials, and then it happens at the sculpture park. So that's been a wonderful opportunity and experience for, again, it's intergenerational and people of all ages and abilities. So we've seen a lot of really interesting excitement around that program. You want to go to the next slide, please? More nature and more community. So we have a bluebird trail at the sculpture park in partnership with Wild Birds Unlimited and Bluebirds of Central Kentucky, and we have 11 nesting boxes at the sculpture park. That is really like a citizen science project, and so We have volunteers that are trained on how to maintain the nest boxes and count the fledglings and note all the data that happens with that. And that is collected and shared with other bluebird trails across the region, and which is really exciting to be able to be part of providing habitat for bluebirds. That their habitat is really scarce, and it's challenging for them to find homes, and they're native species, so we want to try to encourage that. So if anybody's interested in getting involved with that, you can contact Kristen at Wild Birds Unlimited, or you can contact us, and we can help get you connected, and you can show up and learn more about bluebirds. Okay, more collaboration. So this is a list of our most prominent active partners. You can see there are groups from across Frankfort and Franklin County, but there are also groups from around the state and even some national and international organizations that we partner with through a variety of programs that really enables us to extend our impact by working together. It really enables us to be able to serve other communities that might not necessarily find themselves at the park for a specific program or project. And that's been one of the ways that we've been able to enhance our programming and extend our reach tremendously. And Franklin County is of course part of our partner group. We can go to the next slide, please. So last year we had 2 really exciting music events, Symphonic Stroll, which I think last year was our 5th year, if I'm not mistaken, which is really exciting. That's our collaborative event with the Lexington Philharmonic. As you can see, we had 13 musicians playing. There were 8 different sculpture sites that were selected where the musicians were set up and playing. A little over 700 attendees, 37 volunteers, and 31 Kentucky counties in attendance. So that's pretty exciting. That's a wonderful partnership, and we look forward to continuing that each year. Soundscape was an event that we had first done before COVID, and then we hadn't done it again until this year. Until 2025, and we changed the format a little bit last year, and it was a daytime event, and it was in July, and it was about 100 degrees, and we decided that was maybe not the best decision. So this year we will be doing Soundscape again, but it will be like it used to be, which is an evening event in the summer from 6 to midnight. And so, the summers seem to be getting hotter, and we've noticed the last few years when we've planned workshops or events in July, it's been a real challenge for the kids and anybody who's involved. So we're excited to see Soundscape come back this year more in line with how it used to be. If you remember, that is mostly a music event with food trucks and hands-on activities, but we also light sculptures throughout the park, which is a really unique experience that people don't get to experience any other day of the year except that day. We'll go to the next slide. We are maintaining the public art exhibition in downtown Frankfort. There were some funding challenges with the National Endowment for the Arts, but we were able to secure some funding through that and with the city, which was really great. So we weren't able to continue to rotate the sculptures last year, but we were able to extend the existing exhibition, which was a good compromise under the circumstances. And we did install Xavier Cortada's piece at the Transit Center. So we look forward to being able to continue some of those programs in the next few years as well. Next slide. We brought our Artists in Residence program back last year. That had been on about a 2-year sabbatical while we assessed the program. It really had grown tremendously to the point that we almost couldn't manage it. We were getting so much funding that one year we had 8 artists, and it sounded really great at the time. But at the end of 8 months, I thought I was going to lose it, and I thought we should not do that again. So we took a step back, hired some consultants to really come in and look at the program as a whole, talk to artists who had been here, artists in residence from other programs around the country, and we got some amazing feedback and relaunched that last year, which was great. So Peyton Scott Russell came back to do a graffiti camp at his sculpture called Graphology Hinge, which those of you who have been to the park, you know, that sculpture is available for people to come and paint on anytime the park is open. So it is an evolving, continual kind of visual conversation among the community. And when Peyton comes to reactivate the space is always really fun. Next slide. So in 2025, which this was a new thing, was we installed a photo exhibition on the exterior of the tobacco barn. These are photographs by Linda Bruckheimer. There are 10 total photographs, and the exhibition is called Lost and Found Farmscapes. Those are photographs of Kentucky farms and particularly Kentucky barns. This was the first time Linda had ever worked in this format, so that was really an exciting opportunity for her, and it brought people from all over the country. You know, she and Jerry both were here, and we had an event, and all of their friends came, and there was like an LA entourage that arrived at the sculpture park, which was pretty fun and exciting. Penny was there. It was a lot of fun. So that exhibition will stay up through May of 2027, and we hope, we really love the idea of being able to exhibit two-dimensional work, which is not something you traditionally see in a sculpture park. So we hope we can kind of continue this idea of this exhibition. Next slide. So what's ahead this year? Some really cool partnerships and new programs happening. We're launching a new program called Wellness in the Wild. This is a community health initiative. We always have known that getting outside, spending time outside, and spending time with art is good for people's mental health and physical health. And we have promoted that, but not created programming specifically around it. So this is much more intentional, and we've developed some specific activities which we've gotten funding for from the Kentucky Arts Council and the National Endowment for the Arts to do some of these programs, as well as just some new partnerships, like the Sculpture Trail Club with Walk Bike Frankfurt will be a group that meets every month out there, and you can walk or run or jog through the trails at the park. We're also doing, creating a wind telephone, which is a community space for grief and healing with a local artist named Molly Rabner, who will be creating that, and that becomes part of an international database of wind phones. Ours will be the coolest because it's going to be a sculpture made by a sculptor, and it'll be here. So we're really excited about that. And we also have a yoga that's going to start at the sculpture park, and of course our eco art workshops, which we will continue. We can go to the next slide. Our barn raisin event is coming up in June. That'll be on June 7th. This year we'll be honoring the guest of honor, Mrs. Millie Ann Stewart, for her beautiful philanthropy of a very long and amazing life. We're really excited about that. That's presented by Express Credit Union. And those of you who have been know this is our annual fundraising gala. I use the word gala is in quotation marks because it is very much outside. But we have live music and a dinner and a very curated mission-driven auction where you can get some really special, mostly activities and experiences, some artworks. So those tickets are on sale if you are interested, or if anybody wants to sponsor the event or just learn more about it or volunteer, you can go to the website at josephinesculpturepark.org to learn more about that. Yes, JW. That is a good question, and I can't answer that right off the top of my head. It's usually around 4 or 5, but I have a new staff person managing the event this year, so he may make some changes that I'm not aware of at the moment. But it will be on the website for sure. Thank you. Okay, next slide, please. So, as I mentioned, we're bringing Soundscape back. We don't have an exact date for this, but I think it will probably be in late July or early August is kind of what we're looking at right now. So, once we know more about that, that will be on the website, and you guys will know all about it. But it will, as I said, be an evening event with multiple bands and food and activities as well. Next slide, please. So this year we have 2 artists in residence that will be at the Sculpture Park. The first is Sierra Evans, who is originally from Eastern Kentucky, and she's really known internationally as a painter and has had exhibits around the world. Sierra has never made a sculpture before, and one of the signature aspects of our residency program that's very different than most others is that we encourage artists to submit proposals to create things that they may not necessarily have done before. We really want them to push their own boundaries and to learn new skills. And so we're thrilled to have Sierra come. She's essentially going to create in 3 dimensions one of her paintings. And her paintings are very personal narratives about what it is to grow up in Eastern Kentucky and the kind of stories around food that happen in her life. So the other thing about Sierra's residency is that she's a Kentucky artist and she has moved to Frankfurt recently, which we're thrilled about. So her residency will happen throughout the entire summer months. So she will have multiple points of engagement with the community and will be in and out of the studio and building work on site throughout the whole warmer months, which is really exciting. And she'll be plugged in with different events throughout the year. We can go to the next slide. Sean Smith is our second artist in residence. Sean's residency is a little bit more what I would say is our traditional format, where he is an artist coming from Texas, and he will be here for 3 weeks in September, and it'll be a very intensive experience for him and the community. So we're really looking forward to having kind of these 2 different variations on the residency. And he came and did a site visit in September. He was selected out of 67 artists that submitted proposals from all over the country to be here, and that is a rendering of the sculpture that he's planning to create, which is sort of inspired by like bug eyes, like articulated eyes, but those are all going to be little insect hotels. So and those will be created with the community. So it's to create this really like a habitat for native insects and pollinators that is also a sculptural object. It's big, like you can walk into the space and around it. So we're really excited about that. And we're talking with Kentucky State University and some different groups where we'll do some artist talks that are sort of interdisciplinary and talk about pollinators and bees and the land and all that kind of stuff. So super excited for Sean to come. Next slide. Okay, so a few more ways if people want to get involved. Certainly you can always go to the website to just learn more about the park, and I encourage people to do that. If anyone's interested in volunteering or becoming a member, you can do that through the website too, and you can always contact me to learn more information about that. And we would love to have you become more a part of the JSP family. That may be my last slide. Is there another one? Oh, there's the last one that's a big thank you. And I would like to open it up to questions, if you guys have any questions for me.
All righty, Court. Squire Dacus.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say that I had not volunteered out there before. I've been out there a lot and utilized it for lots of different reasons, but I had not volunteered. And oh my gosh, the symphonic stroll was like the most fun thing ever. And volunteering was just fantastic. So if you can do it, go do it. Because I got to meet these wild, crazy women from Woodford County that got into my little bus, and I got to drive them all over, and they'd had a couple, and it was totally one of the most fun things I've ever done in my life, so please go volunteer.
Thank you for saying that. And a lot of our volunteers do happen around events like that, but we also have some volunteers that just come and work a few hours in the office or want to do some trail maintenance and come once a week or once a month and just do, some trail maintenance with some support. So there's a lot of different ways that people might be able to plug in and get involved. So thanks.
Any other questions or comments from the court? Mel, I just want to say thank you for all you do for our community. What you all have grown out there is amazing.
Thank you.
Mel came with me last week before. We walked the new park. We spent a couple hours out there just looking at things and the natural escape and what potential we could do in certain areas for kids. So we'll keep working on that. But,
yeah,
very cool.
I'm excited about the new park.
Yeah, very cool.
Definitely.
So, all right.
And JW has been a great addition to our board, so thank you.
Oh.
Yes.
I'll do a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Mel, thank you
All
very much.
right, thank you all so much. Appreciate the
All right,
support.
take care. All righty, next is Mr. Mike Dees with the Road Department. How you doing tonight, sir?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
Doing well, thank you.
once again, since the last court meeting, we've had all 4 seasons. So,
I hope you can't say that next week.
You're exactly right.
I really am.
I hope so. This one you're looking at here is where they're gonna put the statue on Old Frankfort Pike. We went up there and got it on grade, waiting on them to come in to give us the dimensions on the footer. We've also been doing some tree trimming. We had the guy come in to the lot up there and grind all the trees up for us. It was last week. He come in and got all that ground up. We've just been, where it's been so muddy, we've been working on bus turnarounds and driveways and doing some ditching. This week, we've been out Gregory Woods replacing cross drains where it's due to be paved.
Good deal. How are all the guys doing? Everything's good?
Yep,
How's the equipment? Everything's good?
everything's good.
Good deal. Alrighty. Any comments from the road department or anybody? Squire Harris?
I just want to say, thanks for your input and help on Cedar Cove Hill. It's finished. They're done with it. It's
A lot
smooth.
smoother, ain't it?
It's nice. It's nice. So just want to tell you, thank you for who you reached out to. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Squire Tanner?
Just kind of, I'm sure everybody's heard this before, but I just want to bring it up again, and Mike can elaborate on it, or you, either one.
Go ahead.
That project out on Old Frankfort Pike is a joint project between us, Woodford County, and the state, and some volunteer people. So it's not just us out there doing the work. It's a group of people, but I might lift somebody out too who's working on that.
I
It's
think
called the
Woodford
Old
County's,
Frankfort
yeah.
Pike Corridor Committee, but they're the ones raising all the money to do that project. So Woodford County and us are doing some in-kind, and the state has been spending a lot of time cleaning that branch up behind it. It's going to be a really focal point for one of the most prettiest byways in the state. So, yeah, we're excited. I think W.T. Young is going to donate the horse. Secretariat's on the other end. I'm not sure what horse is on this end. And they're looking to do rock walls and horse fencing. And so they have architects and everything that are working on that. But you all did a great job, knocked it down. We went ahead and threw some seed down because I'm sure they're going to be raising money throughout the year. So most of our part's done out there. So, yeah. But thank you for mentioning that, very much so.
Well, there's been some questions about we doing all that work. That's not
Yeah,
true.
no, it's a team effort. It's a lot of people. I also want to thank you all. They've been out at the new park a good bit.
Yeah.
Limbing up trees, getting honeysuckle out. I told them we didn't want one Bradford pear standing on that whole 128 acres, so they're knocking some big trees down. It makes me happy. So, but they're doing a great job. I think we're going to fix that head wall. Y'all started on that yet?
No, probably start on next week.
Yeah, down there on that dam, I think Squire Heritage talked about. So we're just slowly punching away. I will say it's been a bunch of conversations about the potholes in our community. So I hope people realize that all these states aren't county roads. Some are city, some are state. County roads are probably the best out of the three, but that's be a little partial there. But we're hopeful the asphalt plant will open next week. So that's going to be a priority to the road department once that all gets going. So y'all doing a great job as always. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Alrighty, excuse me. Next is myself. Judge's report. On the 5th, we participated, we being, I believe, Autumn and I, from this fiscal court, from the fiscal. It was a mitigation of the town hall at Paul Sawyer Library. They had some amazing speakers together. They had hydrologists, people from the state. I mean, they did a really good job putting it on. And it wasn't so much to talk about, and a lot of you all were there, and I appreciate you all coming. It wasn't as much about the flood that we just went through. It's how can we do better moving forward down the road. And there's a lot of questions. I think they'll probably do it again because we ran out of time. The library kicked us out, but I know Cable 10 was there. If you weren't able to get there, I would recommend watching it. Anybody want to speak on that? That was there that night? Anything that stands out to anybody? Squire Sebastian?
I may have been the only one there.
Yeah.
Besides you.
I can't remember, yeah. Yeah, because your area was deeply affected. I remember talking
Yes.
about that while we were there.
Yes.
Yep.
So there, citizens had a lot of comments about how things will move forward so that we can be prepared. And I had shared that I had reached out to the River Authority and some others, and we now have some meetings set up to talk about that face to face, because it is a very important thing to be prepared rather than just constantly you have to react to
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And that takes many forms. So it's not just the River Authority, it's the Corps of Engineers. It is a
It's a
division
lot
of
of
water,
people.
transportation. There are a lot of groups to work with, so we're just kind of
Yeah.
trying to peel that off one organization at a time.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I want to thank Together Frankfurt for putting it on, because they did a lot of work to get those people in that room. And Jeff was the moderator, and he did a good job. I know somebody tried to kind of go sideways with some questions, and he shut it down. He said, that's not why we're here tonight. So I appreciate that. It was a very, very well-run panel of a lot of very important people that have to do with the waterway. On the 10th, I spoke with Laser Leadership class out there at the Frankfurt Chamber. I was also with Representative Hancock and Myron Moore with Esprit Credit Union, and Audrey Palmer. She has a consulting firm now, but it was good. It's kids that are really trying to make a difference, high school kids. They had a lot of good questions, everything from entrepreneurship to going to college and what they're going to do. And it was, the more kids we can get in front of, I think the better off we'll all be. But they asked really good questions. They had them all have at least one or two questions for all of us, and it was a good panel, and I appreciate the Chamber for putting that together. On the 10th, we had a Sports Commission meeting. Also, I went to Lexington on the 10th with our very own Penny Peevler, and we talked to the Bluegrass Workforce Innovation Board, really just bragging on what Franklin County is doing here. Everything from opioid stuff to, how the jail's running and the positive things, trying to get, people back into the workforce. But it was a good group of people, and I think the main mission of that organization there is to kind of watch the federal dollars. They're the ones that distribute it throughout the state, so, but it was very nice. Jumping back on the 4th, I spoke at the Rotary at Capitol Plaza Hotel. I want to remind everybody that the hotel has started. The RFB is complete. We've signed all papers to let you all know. They've started construction. So they're hopefully, I think, 18-month turnaround or so on that hotel. I do know that they have a new chef from Augusta, Georgia, and they said the food is good. I didn't have time to eat that day, but it was a nice crowd of people. On the 16th, 17th, and 18th, my good friend Amy, our treasurer, and I got to hang out a whole lot for 3 days, meeting with department heads, going over budget stuff. So that's, we're off and running with that. So we got a lot of work to do there. And then from here, we'll go to Finance Committee and spend a lot of time together. What we're looking at there on the 18th, Allie and I went to Franklin County High School, and we had lunch, and we saw how the whole lunch program worked and how they have to serve certain things because of nutrition and certain things they can and they can't do. The most interesting thing for me on this whole school system with the food is that they're independent restaurants. They're not funded with the money from taxes. It's really interesting how the cafeteria is run. I think there's 13, they call them basically independent restaurants. It's how they're running. It's a full food service. So that was kind of eye-opening to me. So we appreciate the school for trying to support them. I will say that Franklin County has been very active on our solid waste committee. They've ordered trays. They're trying to get rid of some styrofoam. They are fixing where they can the dishwashers. They're looking at maybe getting cups, and they're starting to implement them a little bit every year. So they are trying to be good environmental stewards. So I personally just want to thank them for that, because they don't have to, but they are. They know it's a need, but they also are crunching the numbers. And so we're trying to work, Allie especially is really trying to figure out how we can all work together to get items that are more affordable for options. So that's where that is. On the 20th, Jenny Durr, my executive assistant, and myself went to serve meals, just like most of you on the court have, and I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I appreciate Squire Sebastian for serving on that board, with the senior center, but it's amazing. I was down today at the Bluegrass ad, and when they talk about the senior program and the Meals on Wheels and all that, I mean, Frankfurt's right on the top. I mean, it is, for the size of our community, I mean, we are by far the best of the best. I mean, I think we're one of the only ones in the ad district that serves hot meals. Everyone else gets frozen meals. It's very impressive. I appreciate the jail. I see the jailer sitting there, sending the girls out there to help prepare the meals. Can't say enough good things about our seniors and everything Marshall and her team are doing for everybody. And then on the 23rd, I went with Penny Peevler, our Economic Development, down to Lebanon because they have an amazing workforce career center. As most of you all know, during one of the governors a couple terms ago, he did away with all of the career centers, but they took it upon themselves to kind of build their own. And it was really eye-opening for me. We kind of debriefed on the way back, and I think Franklin County's doing a really good job with wraparound services, how we're trying to, Max's office has been great and everything, ASAP and everybody's doing, but I do think we get to the point where we're not doing a good job of getting people back into the workforce. I think we're doing a really good job getting them to rehab and trying to get them back on the right path, but I do think there's a void there. And that day, we spent all day down there pretty much. It was very apparent that they figured it out a long time ago, and a couple counties have come together and cities, and they're all working together to fund that place. So that was very good to see. And I'm not going to talk about I talk about the Easter thing. I'm going to let Sherry talk about that and other business if that's okay, but it doesn't hurt to throw it out there twice. Oh, okay. Well, I'll talk about it thank you. Okay, I'll talk about it in my judge's report then. Thank you. So this Saturday, I think the weather's supposed to be nice. Anybody looked at the weather this weekend? It's going to be good, right?
Middle 50s, sunny.
Perfect.
Perfect day.
Perfect, dry. So we're go 1 o'clock at Lakeview Park. I know there's some new additions this year to what we're doing, but our event out there at Lakeview, and all of you pretty much come every year, and I really appreciate that. But it's become a big event. I think it's probably one of the best around here that we have. Sherry, do you mind to go ahead and jump in real quick since we're in the judge's report, and you can
Yes,
comment
sir.
about it
I
in the
can.
judge's report? Because I'm asking you to talk about it in the
You've
judge's
asked me
report.
to. Yes, sir.
Just a
Thank you
couple
so
highlights,
much.
because I knew there's 1 or 2 new things this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yep.
So again, this will be the 7th annual Easter at Lakeview. 6 of those have actually been hunts. One of those was a drive-through during COVID. The sheriff's office has been our collaborative partner from the beginning, and Traditional Bank has been our financial sponsor from the very beginning, and they continue on in both of those roles. We have the Sheriff's Mounted Police Unit will be part of the event. Our own solid waste office, not only have they set up a Easter egg reclamation area for those who don't want to take all the plastic eggs home with them, but they are creating Easter baskets right now that they will bring out, and kids on site can create their own Easter basket if they forget something to bring with them to hunt. So certainly we ask everybody to do that. The health department will be there. The Paul Sawyer Library will be there with their, they have an obstacle course that they set up every year out there. Kentucky State University has been a partner from the very beginning. The CKI kids come out there and they actually do the hiding of the eggs, which is a wonderful partnership for us to continue on.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
The health department always comes out and they provide some wonderful information about the programs that they have for families. And they also do some giveaways, so we're looking forward to that. Thornhill is going to be there with some fun activities. The staff there is very eager to join on and be a partner in this. But new this year, every year I try to think of something new to add that's going to help elevate this activity. So this year, we're going to have a train for our smallest kids to be able to ride in, and it is a 1919 International Titan that will be pulling the train cars. So if you were ever at Expo in the days of yore, up on top of the Capitol Plaza, you saw Mr. Alvin Bogey with that train, and I've connected with his family, and his daughter Wanda still has the train, which is pretty tugging to my heart. And she and Mike have been gracious enough to allow us, the county, to use that. So Mr. Bogey, who was a steward on the Conservation Board for years, decades, and a wonderful supporter of Franklin County, would be so thrilled that it is being pulled out and being used by the county again for kids. And I also reached out to the Frankfort City Police Department. They have a safety town activity that they typically do with the hospital. So I've asked them if they could do that with us first this year, because so many kids got bikes for Christmas. And it's a great way to introduce now with the first days of spring. And I know the first thing I wanted to do when I was a little kid and have a bike was get outside and ride that thing. So this is a great opportunity and another way to pull in another collaborative partner who hasn't been part of our activity, but I think once they are, it will be great. Quick shout out to Yes Arts, who again, we've instituted a sensory-friendly area, and I want to thank every member of the court for assisting with that, our county attorney for assisting in making sure we have sensory-friendly eggs to be part of that. So I am looking forward to it. Kiwanis is going to be there signing up on site. Our IT coordinator has gone ahead and taken care of signing everyone up and making that available online, so you can go to the Franklin County page and do that. So I'm hopeful that those who are going to participate in setting up activities, I'll see you at 11:30 Saturday. Community, we will see you out there at before 1 o'clock, because the kids are always looking for things to do, and we're just adding more and more all the time. Yeah. And the fire department, they do a great job in having helmets and giveaways, fire trucks on site.
Squire Tanner's excited about that this year.
Yeah, for kids to climb through and see. It's a wonderful thing, and so it really brings our resources closer to the community, and that's where we want to put them, in our families and our kids, and keeping them here for fun and festive activities.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your work on that. Also, shout out, and speaking of that train, I want to thank Jailer Hopper, and I want to thank Greg Fryer Maintenance. They've taken the time where they're repainting all the carts. So the ladies, yeah, I was out there yesterday. Ladies have been there because it's been parked for so many years in a barn. So they couldn't clean up the way we wanted it to. So I said, you know what? Let's paint them. Let's be prideful, and when we return it to the Bogey family, they'll have some freshly painted carts, and hopefully we can use it every year. So alrighty, that's the end of my report. We're going to keep moving. Next is approval of minutes from March 4th, 2026. Anybody have any questions, concerns, comments on that? Alrighty, seeing none. Next is our county clerk. He was unable to be with us tonight. For those who haven't heard, his dad passed away. So we, yeah, we can do that, totally. Yeah, Pat was a figure in this community,
Pat was a figure in this community. He led many organizations, so I would like to ask for that, Judge.
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that, and I was going to do that, but yeah, we'll do it right now. Moment of silence for Mr. Pat Hancock and their families. Alrighty, thank you very much. But I know Jeff came by earlier and dropped the check off, is what I heard. So I believe Amy is happy with everything that's in there. There's Amy right there, unless she's coming in and say she's not happy. But she has a smile, so I think she was happy with the check. So that's good. Alrighty, next is Jailer Hopper is with us with her team. And I believe today we're just going to receive their budget. So I want to emphasize that, because it seems like, sometimes people think we're going to approve it, but we're just receiving it today per KRS. So Jailer, welcome. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Good evening, Court. If we're going through from the top to the bottom, if you guys have the same sheet that I have, yes. Okay. On our revenue line, our tech grant, that was from CPC. That was something that was in place when I got there, and we finished the last year of that last year, so that will not be on our revenue. Our jail contracts, looks like $85,000. It says zero on there. We will have $30,000 on that line as opposed to zero for revenue. That's our guardrail contract, and the guardrail has moved to 24-foot guardrail pieces, so that'll be an automated thing, no longer for the inmates to be able to do that work. I'm just going down to where.
Yeah, hit the highlights.
Hit the highlights.
Yes.
Our telephone contract is going down $116,000. That was an FCC thing. That's nothing that we can do. We cannot control that at all. Next, in our expenses, we're asking for $319,000 more this year than what we had last year, for $230,000 for deputy lines, and that's for a percentage raise, and 2 additional officers to increase our revenue-generating projects that we have going on. These deputies will be working on the secured side of the jail. They're not administrative positions that are being created. Our maintenance equipment, it should be 216, but the extra $100,000 is being asked for blacktop, and that was just based upon 2 of the estimates that we've received back for that amount. And
Want to talk about the kitchen?
And the
Kitchen
kitchen,
equipment.
our plates, our food service equipment, a tilt skillet. We have 2. One of them is not going to be repairable. 3 quotes have been given on that, $28,000 to $30,000 on replacing those. We've asked for some extra money in our furniture and fixtures. You know, everything is in the front office is original to the building, and it needs some repairs, a little facelift there, but our chairs, you know, options from going to surplus property. We purchased 1 table from surplus, and it was the cost of going and buying 1 new. So we've asked for an increase there. We've also asked for a vehicle, a 7-passenger minivan with a cage for the inmate transports. Currently, we have 3 caged vehicles for transport to cover our local, federal, SAP and SOAR pickups, hospital runs, and we have nothing to surplus at this time. Inmate special supplies, we're asking for an increase there, and that's for toilet paper, feminine hygiene, spit mask, armbands, and drug testing. Printing stationery forms, we're asking for an extra there, and that's just inflation on paper products. Communication equipment, our radios, chargers, we've been piecing together radios since I've been there, and we need to buy some new radios. And base stations for the main control in the dorm area. I think I've covered everything that, you know, in the extra that we're asking for.
Squire Wisman.
Trace, Ms. Hopper, can you tell us a little bit about the state prisoner payment decrease of $600,000? What's pushing that, and why the drastic difference? Or is it just that we didn't meet that?
We don't have the real estate to hold these state prisoners, and I won't warehouse them and put them on the floor for that. And we've made up for that in the very next line. SAP program inmates are state inmates. We just say SAP as opposed to state inmates. So for that loss, our SAP program, you know, I'm still confident that $1 million is exactly where we're going to be.
It's our own choice then. I wanted to make sure the state wasn't cutting prisoners to us or something.
No, so the cut, if you look at the jail operation pay, that's something that's set by the state, and it went from 100 to 89,000, and the medical allotment is also set by the state, and it went from 9 to 7,000.
And then the utilities in the jail, it's almost $100,000 increase you've got
I know.
there. Could you explain what, this court has been talking about energy efficiency and improvements that have been made at that jail for the 3 years I've been here plus, and if this is a perceived increase or if this is an actual cost that we're incurring next year based on current rates, or can you elaborate a little bit?
Amy sets that price for us, but yes, utilities have gone up, our population is higher, we're flushing more than we ever have, they're showering more, so those utilities, and, my utility bill at home has gone up, and I can only say that
25% is drastic.
it is drastic. It is drastic.
I do want to let the court know that we have been in communication with the ESG, the energy consultant. I know they've been on site once and met with Major LeMay there, and there's more meetings to follow. So.
Oh, they're back?
Yeah.
They've met recently?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I could speak of.
That's why I just asked him. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Total
But
new
yes,
stuff.
they did come down. We did a call online. Max did a wonderful job kind of talking to them and their people. Major May suggested they come down and actually look at everything, and they did, at least they started, they did. I think a lot of things were surprising to them, so ball's in their court now, but we are having conversations.
Yes,
So
sir.
just want to throw that out to everybody, and that's probably all I should say about that.
Yes, sir.
Squire Tanner, you had your hand up?
I did have a question. She mentioned it and I didn't understand what she's talking, I didn't understand. On the revenue, on the telephone, where it went from 216 to 100,000.
Yeah, the FCC has made cuts on charging for that. Malia Hurst came in and met with the Finance Committee at the last committee meeting to explain to them, what those cuts were. And Squire Sebastian, Squire Dykes were there for that, and just so they could,
So
have some answers.
The federal government has
That's their-
limited what we can charge?
Yes,
You
Squire,
can't,
it's not really the telephone, it's more the iPads.
yeah.
It's
well,
all-
iPads and
Yeah, they-
and cell phones and
Yeah,
cards
they
and
stepped
everything.
in and pretty much did a ruling and cut
Yeah.
everything in half.
And this is not something that, we should ever hang our hat on making the money. Here, this is something that you always just want to break even. So if we're still making $100,000 there, we're still in good shape until we're not.
Well, goes from 6,455,000 to 6,775,000, which is a substantial number to me.
It is
But I'm-
$317,000.
So the other
and
question I had.
the biggest thing is on our maintenance line, on our medical line, and that we're asking for 2 additional officers. And for them to
And a new
be,
vehicle.
and a new vehicle, yes, sir.
Okay. Just ask.
Yes, sir.
That's why we're here. What
Yes,
other
sir.
questions we have the jailer or her team, since they're with us tonight, and we will be receiving their budget. Everybody good? All right, jailer, thank you very much. I appreciate
Yes.
you all being with us tonight.
Yes, sir. Have a good evening.
You too. All right, next, I believe we have Miss Penny Peevler, and we're doing the same with her budget. So she's with Develop Frankfurt, and
I can't get used to saying develop.
thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I want to recognize Dr. David Lodmell, our chairman, who is with us today, who volunteers his time and has come to join me in bringing you greetings today. I'm here to thank you for your support of the economic development of Frankfurt and Franklin County. As you know, we serve at your pleasure, and through interlocal agreement, the city and county have partnered together for the mission of retaining and attracting jobs in this community. I wanted to highlight, first I wanted to thank you, and then I wanted to highlight some of the things that we were able to accomplish last year as a community. And it is through working together that we are able to accomplish these things. In fiscal 26, we assisted developers and corporations, the city and the county, with the recruitment of over 500 new jobs in Franklin County. These include the attraction of a $30 million investment in an infill site and 43 engineering and biotech jobs at Meridian Biotech. The engineering for that facility is underway now. Construction is set to begin, and those jobs will be online the end of the year, beginning of next year. So that's a critical new development because it's also a new industry for Franklin County. You've heard me talk a lot about balancing our budget through a balanced economic strategy that includes a lot of different industries. Infill is critically important, and so is agritech and biotech, and I'll talk a bit more about that later. We were able to attract the expansion of NITO into Franklin County at the Duncan Road Industrial Park 3 site. NITO is a 100-year-old manufacturer of the adhesive that goes into your car to hold in all the windows. They're a Japanese company. They've been a great new corporate citizen, and they've added a third shift there. So we're very thankful for that. And then there were 100 jobs related to Nan McKay, which is a FEMA consultancy provider. We have a lot of FEMA kind of headquarters for the state here in Frankfort, and Nan McKay did purchase a building off of out near the hospital, and they are bringing 100 jobs for that, and that's the business that they're in. So if you look at kind of the balance of the economic stool there, you have agritech and biotech, you have professional services, and you have advanced manufacturing or additive manufacturing they are a tier 1 auto supplier there with NITO. So three different areas. That's by design. And I just want to say that, we assisted the developers at the Paddocks of Frankfort with their new $150 million development at US 127. We've heard a lot of the announcements about what's coming there. I believe there will be some housing coming to that location in that general area. No announcements yet, but that is a full court press for us to get housing out there. I came straight from a meeting related to that here. This organization, with your support, led the Kentucky Product Development Initiative multi-jurisdictional project and successfully rezoned 225 acres at the western edge of the county at US 127 South and provided $1 million in funds to this multi-county effort. We continue our Phase 2 engineering of that site, archaeological, geotechnical, and environmental is underway now. We've begun marketing the development under the set specifications of 1,500 jobs at a minimum wage of $62,000 per year. We also led the Economic Development Strategic Action Plan with Garner Economics, engaging over 220 business stakeholders and community members, and contributed $120,000 in costs for the program. That was from our cash reserves. We continue to lead efforts to research and fulfill the recommendations of the plan, including scheduling leadership learning lab visits to recommended communities, such as Judge Moeller talked about with our workforce visit. We'll be making another workforce visit in April, and I encourage all of you to attend. I just want to summarize real quickly. There were 4 tenets of that strategic plan. It's tourism production, and that is the ecosystem of tourism. How do we take those good things that are happening in arts and culture tourism, historic tourism, and Buffalo Trace, and how do we multiply that for our local businesses, for the benefit of our downtown? A thriving downtown is a thriving community. A great place to live is a great place to visit. A great place to live is a great place to visit. So that's tenet number 1. Number 2, advanced manufacturing. We've talked about that. Number 3, professional services. Everybody knows what that is. And of course, number 4, state government. So we have a lot of opportunity. We are trying to balance that economic stool. I am really pleased to tell you that we invested $30,000 of our cash reserve in a small area development plan for key infill areas at US 127 and US 60. There are 4 subject properties included in that. We've been working with our procured consultants and property owners. The completed plan will be used to market the properties to developers who wish to lease from the long-term landowners of the properties and for sales. It's for business attraction and development. We will release that plan when it's completed. Right now, we are going through due diligence with the property owners and the consulting team. But that is underway, and there are some exciting developments that we will cross all of our fingers and toes that will spur infill development at US 127 South and US 60. We've also began our conversations with RCG, who is the new purchaser of Parkside on the eastern side of the county. They're an Atlanta-based firm, large firm. We've started to look at a number of parcels out there and how we can better utilize that area and get that all filled up. In this 2027 budget that we're presenting to you, we have set aside another $30,000 for small area plan development of the infill areas on East Frankfort, on Main Street up around K-State, another area that is absolutely in need of infill investment. Now, as part of that, we also are looking at best practices and how can we best induce and incentivize infill development. Doesn't happen automatically. We all have to work together. We have to go out and fish for what we want to catch. We can't just cast a net and say whatever. We need to be laser focused, and we have to go out and do that. And the only way that we can do that is together. We continue to market the specialness of Frankfort and lean into our unique areas for geotourism and placemaking, including Benson Valley, Bald Knob, Peaks Mill, and Schweitzer. Those are a little bit more difficult to do, but again, I'm showing somebody some areas next week. We just, we're pounding the pavement. My job is to be out in front of the wagon train and trying to attract the right things that you all want with the parameters that you've set. A big success that I want to say that I'm especially proud of is that we oversaw the Department of Labor Information Technology Apprenticeship Program grant. We graduated 19 of our 24 participants despite encountering flood and personal tragedy. A lot of those participants needed massive wraparound services. We had a partnership with Wanda Joyce. It was not perfect. We learned a lot about how many wraparound services are needed. We can't say enough thanks to Thornhill and everybody who helped us kind of get everybody recruited, because that's when we first realized we don't have a workforce ecosystem. I mean, Jay Garner told us in the report, we don't have a workforce ecosystem. Coming to Frankfort with the Bluegrass ad and their 3 staff members covering 9 counties, coming one afternoon to the Paul Sawyer Public Library 1 time a month. They see on average 4 people a month. Now, how many people do you think in Frank County are looking for a job? A lot. And they need a place to come. They need to know where the jobs are. A lot of them don't have a computer. I mean, it's a heartbreaking story, and I don't need to tell you because you've lived it. But we graduated 19 people, and 14 of those people are employed in information technology today. One of them, Ryan P., is a superstar. He works for Frank County Public Schools. He has completely upskilled himself. One of them got a job for an IT company working remote, makes $80,000 a year. I mean, this is an absolute and direct pathway to upskilling. Now, I'm sorry to report that that grant program is frozen right now due to the federal government, but what I will tell you is we know how to run those grants now. We've learned a lot. It wasn't easy, and now I'm ready for the next one, and I feel very ready as soon as the grants open up. And there are some grants that are available, and we are meeting with our workforce folks next week from Lexington. They're coming, and we're just trying to lean into workforce, because Jay Garner's plan said, wow, you all have got a great community. Here's 80 things that you need to do to improve it. You need to add 12 people in economic development. Here are the jobs. We said, you know what? We're going to look and see what are our priorities. We listened to you, and we heard you say that workforce is a priority and that our downtown development and filling up the downtown is a priority, because a productive downtown shows well for the entire community. We changed the name of our organization to Develop Frankfurt to better reflect the work that we do. And with your support, we featured stories in European Foreign Direct Investment Magazine. We've been writing about what's been happening here. We've been getting the word out. With your help, we created a new website, a new video, all to promote the specialness of Frankfurt. We thank you for understanding that global, regional, and local dynamics have changed considerably over the last several years, and we're working hard to lead these efforts with your support and participation. I want to say that these are challenging times for the business community because the national ecosystem is not what it was a couple of years ago. International travel is softening by 17 to 25%. It's not here yet, it's coming. Business expansion is softening, it's coming. So what are we doing? We are leaning in and we are meeting with all of our existing businesses, because when you're in a war, you need to get inside your tank, you got to hunker down, and so that you're ready when things abate. And that's what we're trying to do. I'm likely not going to have the same good news to share with you next year that I have this year. And I am sorry, and it is not for lack of trying, and it is not a Frankfurt problem. It is not a Frankfurt problem. But what we can do is support the businesses that we have, show them that we care, and try to retain these jobs. We just hosted an employer coffee. We had our 2 largest employers there, and many other employers. But we had our 2 largest there. The state has hired new project managers to support companies. There's a crisis line for when people are going to lay people off. I'm not telling you that people are going to lay people off, but I'm telling you that the state's getting ready to do whatever it can to support workers and companies, and we're right there. And today I've met with 2 different companies, and we just want to thank them for their business of locating in Franklin County and say, how can we support you? And that's the job that we have. And so what will we be doing in the future? Of those 8, 10, 12 jobs and reinvestment that Jay Garner's our strategic plan recommended, we are asking you for 2 additional positions next year. And we have prioritized those positions in the area of workforce development so that we can build out our ecosystem, create stronger relationships with the Bluegrass Ad, and explore the efficacy of opening a career center. That's a little bit of funds from the city and county, it's money from the state, it's federal RIOA dollars. We're at the beginning of that, but we've got to have a concerted focus and effort, and we've got to have somebody that focuses on that. I can't redirect 100% of my time to that. And we have fiduciary and regulatory filings and things that we are responsible for as a quasi-government agency. And we are doing the very best that we can with the resources that we have. The second position that we are requesting is in the area of infill and downtown development, and that would be a new position to assist in the recruitment for downtown and economic infill areas. There has not been an economic development focus on the downtown since the Main Street program was ended. I'm not saying that there's a wonderful effort by Downtown Frankfurt Inc. to bring the downtown alive, and they do an excellent job of creating unique, special opportunities to invite people downtown. They are a self-professed marketing company. They do a wonderful job of that, and they've been great at also bringing the downtown businesses together. That is not the same as targeted business attraction that is necessary. We keep an inventory in our office of empty or underutilized buildings in the downtown. We have 14, and that is too many. And all you have to do is refer back to the strategic plan and read the whole chapter about downtown. So if you think other things are important besides what has been prioritized, that's what we'll do, right? That's what we'll do. But we are here to say we're working hard. We've had some success. We want to keep working hard for you and for this community, and we need additional resources to do that. We understand that budgets are constrained, but we believe that we have proven with additional investment in economic development that we can produce strong results for this community. The other thing that we will be exploring over the coming year is the creation of a community development corporation or a community development finance organization. We already have a nonprofit at Capital Community Economic Industrial Development Authority. We have both an IDA and a nonprofit. So if we are to go down the route of a community development corporation, we will not need any additional incorporation. Were we to create a finance organization, that would be a different type of organization. But the purpose of this is to begin to develop projects, to take on those undoable projects that we can perhaps have success in due to grants, due to public-private partnership funding, and try to bring some critical properties back in business. There's an organization called the Catalytic Fund in Covington. They've now celebrated 20 years, and they've done over 200 projects. They work in housing, they work in downtown development. Squire Wisman's very familiar with that group. There is also in Cincinnati the 3CDC. That is a CDC, and they have been working in the Over the Rhine neighborhood. We will be taking a leadership learning lab trip there, learning all we can. Generally, those organizations are started with a corpus from city and county. That's extra to the budget. That's not included in the operating budget. And then we would be raising private dollars to match that and invest, or at least somebody putting the corpus in and letting us use the income of that, and we would work one project at a time, block by block. We've got a couple of projects that I'd like to identify. We're not ready to talk about what those are yet, but we would be doing that in concert with you. We believe that we are well positioned to take on that work, to get it set up and get it started. I'm good at turning things around. I'm good at starting things. And I believe that we have the skills to put something together, and then we can all work together to figure out how to utilize it best for the community. So I'm not here to say exactly what the vehicle is. We're still in the fact-finding phase, but people have asked me, oh, what are you doing on the strategic plan? Well, we're going line by line on the strategic plan to enact it. So what we want to do this year is explore and create this vehicle in order to tackle those undoable projects and figure out how to put them together. And we want to increase double down our efforts in workforce. I will be working on retention, and we will take on this downtown and infill. And that's our plan. It's your plan. The strategic plan told us what to do. Now we just have to go out here and put one foot in front of the other and do it. I'd like to close by thanking you for the opportunity to work for you. It really is a pleasure. There are so many rewards, and it's a pleasure to work with all of you. And I just cherish the opportunity to learn from you and to work alongside you. It's very gratifying. Thank
I
you.
just want to say thank you. You're a very passionate person. And
I
it
do
shows.
love Frankfurt. It is
it
the garden
shows.
spot of the universe.
And it shows. So, and you and your board have done an amazing job of turning that organization around.
Thank you.
Everybody on this court, without saying it, knows where we were 2 years ago and where we are today. It's night and day. And that was a very difficult thing to do. So from myself and hopefully this whole court, we all acknowledge that. We appreciate that. What questions, concerns, comments, because we're here to receive their budget today, and she told us about a couple of positions. Squire Dykes.
So I just want to remind people that we are putting money into helping people heal, helping people get better, helping people at the jail increase their skill set. We got to have a place for people to work. So I think that, I think you're awesome. I think they're doing a phenomenal job. And I just think it's important for people watching this to understand why this is so important. we cannot move forward without jobs. Our people will move out. They will heal. We're doing a great job of that. People are getting better and they're growing their skills and they're doing all the important things. But if we don't have a place for them to work, none of that really matters for us. So thank you very much for what you're doing, and I strongly support this.
All righty. What else do we have? Squire Wisman.
Penny, thanks for being with us. I want you to go through the numbers a little bit, what actually is being requested here. We've got an increase of $250,000 effectively, $137,500 over last year's amount that we contributed from the county.
No, it's $100,000 over last year. You contributed $150,000. That was just what's been received as of the end of quarter two. It's $100,000 over and above last year for each the city and county. So it is each contributed $150,000. This year the request is $250,000. That is the request from each the city and county, and that is in order to add the 2 positions in the areas I mentioned, workforce and downtown and infill development. That's the request.
And that will effectively fund all 4 positions, the executive director, the assistant, and the 2 new is what you're asking for.
That's correct. And that's at I want to reiterate, that's at the recommendation of the strategic plan. This is not, I mean, I have prioritized those 2 based on what the plan, but this is how that was derived upon. The strategic plan said you need to be investing in, you need 6, 8, 10, 12 new efforts in economic development. You need to double down. Obviously, we're not going to move to that level, and we're not going to make that investment at this time. These are uncertain economic times, too. I recognize that. But we want to be in action on the workforce, and Jay Garner assures us that we need to be in action on our downtown.
And just before the rumor mills start about anything, I want to get numbers clear for the community to understand, because it easily tracks. There's also an additional request for $500,000 potentially to make this CECETA or something that mimics our Northern Kentucky partners. Is that going to be coming in as a request with your budget, or are we thinking about that as a future request in the next year, or explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so initially our board voted to put in that request at this time, and that was the request of the board. That's what was passed, an additional $500,000 in Corpus to grow, and then we would match and maintain and start that project. The operational budget request is for $250,000. What we will do, regardless, is we will be in action on the setup of that structure in order to do projects in the Community Development Corporation style. Whether that be a CDC or a CDFI, we're still exploring what is the right legal mechanism. And so that would be that would be a capital request. Just as this organization had $1 million and it invested the $1 million in the creation of the FACT district, the city and county matched that with $500,000 each of its funds to create the new Commerce and Technology District. We paid for the strategic plan. We paid for the infill plan, and now we have spent our excess, and all we have now is our cash reserves, which is just about the couple $100,000 that we need to keep in the bank for 3 months of operating plus. And then we have some revolving loan funds which came to us from the Community Development Block Grant, and we lend those out to businesses. We have 2 active loans currently to businesses in this community, and of course any new business that's creating jobs can apply. But that's all the money that we have now. And I believe the comment in the early days of me taking over and running the transition of the organization was spend down what you've got in reserves on these projects that we need to do. And so we've done that. And now, if we are going to do something new, then we're going to have to figure out how to fund that. And so does that help? So it's not part of the operating request, it's an extra. I don't want to call out any specific buildings, but we all know that there are problematic locations within this community whose economics don't make it so that a private developer can take the project on. They need assistance in a public-private partnership. And that's what we're talking about with this CDFI or CDC. Our organization has done projects in the past. They've been industrial. Well, the strategic plan doesn't call for our organization to be only industrial. It calls for us to get involved in housing, childcare, transportation. These are the inducers of economic development. I just left a housing developer today that said to me, Penny, you want to get 300 to 500 new single-family homes built in Franklin County? Well, can you put in the land? Can you put in the land? Because that's what it takes. You know, I don't know if that's true, but I'm just telling you that housing is economic development. And so we're trying to enact this plan. We're doing our best, and we're trying to do it in partnership with you. We're not always all going to agree, but we have to work together. And this court has been so supportive of us, and you know, we thank you for that.
Well, let's go to Squire Tanner.
I got just a couple things to say. I shouldn't say anything, but I will. First of all, Squire Dyke is correct. We have to have economic development for various reasons, for employment for our people. So our tax base, and everybody's heard this, same old thing, tax base has to grow. If the people in this community expect the benefits and the services they got now, the only way to keep them up is to grow. And also on board, from my old farming days, you cannot starve cattle to market. So if you keep cutting things and cutting things and cutting things, you're starving, you'll strangle yourself. And I'm in support of going forward as much as we can afford, and I'm sure the budget committee is going to be looking at that also. But we can't stop. You just can't do it.
Thank you, Squire. Squire Wisman, did you have your hand up again?
Yeah, just in rebut to Penny's comments, I want to elaborate. You know, there's a lot of theories about economic development, and generally every community that's going to have a future right now is going to look in, start back at the beginning, and grow out from there, because growing outwards is more expensive every time. Every foot you go out further,
Absolutely.
There's a theory that it costs 4 times more to maintain that next foot outside of your existing footprint than it did the last, so eventually your community becomes insolvent.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting very close, communities across the nation, with that right now. So, Penny, you mentioned the CDC in over the Rhine. It's one of the largest redevelopment projects in the entire America right now. And that was started with seed money, which is what you're kind of mentioning, asking for $500,000. Seed money that came directly from Kroger and a couple of other large institutions in Cincinnati wanting to invest in the community. Not a dollar initially came from the local government. If we're going to move forward, I'm cautious, I'm skeptical. It depends on how we structure things.
Sure.
Who's involved, what the mission is. You know, we've seen, as was mentioned earlier, entities that got off the rail and didn't represent the wishes of our community. So I'm always cautious of how that can happen. But I would like to express maybe a challenge to even consider this. I want to see some buy-in from some of our big businesses.
Yes.
You know, we're losing a lot of money starting this year from the bourbon industry. We're seeing a slowing, as you were talking about, of tourism, which is critical for our community. Our international partners are drying up. I don't think that's going to go away for a few more years, if at all, in the inevitable future. So I think it's time that we start leaning on some of our partners with a good plan to see them invest in our community as well. And I think they will, as long as we have a plan in place. They've said for years they would be interested in investing if we brought them something that showed return, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to put that as a challenge.
I hear
Even
you,
consider
accept it. And I want to put that plan together. I want to put that plan together, and let's go out there and raise that money and get them to match it, and then we'll get started.
Penny, we thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Dr. David Lodmill, thank you for all you do. Yeah, couldn't have done it without you tonight, but we appreciate you being here. In all seriousness, you take that board very, very serious, and I know your own business takes a lot of time, your family takes time, but I just want to personally say thank you for all you do for economic development in Franklin County.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yep. Alrighty, next is, I believe Aaron's with us tonight. Hello, Aaron, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
What do you have?
So we are moving forward with the buyout process for the properties affected by the flooding. And we are months ahead of schedule, so that's good news. We're ready for the next phase, which is gonna be the review of the appraisals. And so the information that I provided in the abstract did not give specifics on who the request for quote was sent to, and it didn't give the results of the two quotes or bids that we did receive. So I did give everyone a supplemental to the abstract today. And I would like to have the court's approval to award the contract to Greg Hilton as the lowest bidder and the quickest turnaround time.
Okay, any questions on that? Then I'm gonna ask you a question since you're here anyways. Any question on this contract, I guess, for anybody?
I don't have a question on this, but after you ask, I have
Yeah.
one that's not.
Yeah, so Aaron, we all know what's going on, or most everybody probably knows that FEMA's kind of been defunded because now they're funding ICE with that money, and it's really a big cluster, let's be honest. So where does that leave all the properties that we have
Hanging out
agreed
waiting.
to? I'm sorry?
They're just hanging out there, waiting.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
Yeah, no, we're all thinking the same thing.
Because we're all there.
Yeah, so
So it's kinda
you've done
two
a good
different-
job communicating with everybody, because I've heard a lot of positive things from you, from those people about you all been communicating with them. I think everybody realizes our federal government is totally screwed right now, just to be honest. So, but where are we, like,
Okay,
for the
so,
buyouts?
yeah, so basically with the FEMA buyouts, we have dedicated funding for the 21 properties that are in that first group. So everything is moving forward with that. We are still waiting, we have 16 other properties that we are still waiting for guaranteed funding on. And that's through natural resources. So this is separate from FEMA as far as funding is concerned, where we're going to be running into issues if there is a continued delay with restarting FEMA and funding FEMA is with the courthouse. So that's our primary concern, and the road damages that we still have yet to address.
Infrastructure.
But in your eyes, have you heard anything else on the 16 properties, or that's just hanging?
We've been told that it is approved, but we have not received guaranteed funding for it yet.
Okay, but
So
you
it's
feel like
technically
if that were
approved,
to
but-
happen, that we're still on the trajectory to finish this project?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
even though FEMA's closed down because this is other funds?
Correct.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're saying. I just want to make sure everybody understands. We should hopefully be okay.
Yeah.
Squire Sebastian?
Thank you, Judge. So Aaron has provided some information to me to share with some constituents who have reached out, who are part of the Phase 2 buyout. So if you would just restate that, the portion about the 16 properties, residential properties that are in Phase 2, just for everyone's edification, just to be very clear.
Yeah, so the 16 properties, they have been approved by Natural Resources, NRCS. But we are waiting for guaranteed funding for that. So that's the piece of it that we don't have yet. And as soon as we do get that funding, which we are being told that we will receive it, nobody has given us any indication that that funding will not come. But we don't have it at this point.
Okay. Well,
Thank you again for
Yeah.
just sharing
and
that.
I will say to the court, when she does update me, typically, you all will be the first to know.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, I pester her more than probably
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah. Well, yeah,
Oh, you
breathing
don't
air.
pester me at all.
And I feel terrible about that.
Oh.
But what we all also need to hear is that there are infrastructure funds that need to come to the community that we put back in there that are now in jeopardy. That, as well as the courthouse, just from the FEMA side
Right.
of things. So I want everybody to hear that, because, we've got millions of dollars sunk into the repair of the courthouse. And then there is at least $1 million, at least. Again, I'm
Yeah,
not trying to be
No,
down to the
yeah.
penny,
yeah,
but for everyone to understand that happened to our infrastructure here, roads, bridges, other things
Absolutely.
that we have poured money and resources into that,
Yeah.
that we are just continuing to have to work on because of that. And that's been a year, but those things don't come back quickly. So, banks, other things. So I just
Yeah.
want to make sure everybody understands there's two different pots we're dealing with
Yes.
for the overall disaster that hit us. Just so everybody understands
Yeah.
that they're not all in the same funding stream.
Correct. Yeah,
Alright.
two different federal entities that we're working with.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the only one that we're having issue with
Max told
right
me we
now
gotta
is
stay on topic a
FEMA.
little bit better today, so.
Yeah. That's what,
Yeah,
that's why you all don't have to deal with the details.
I know, it's great, it's great. Squire Wisman.
Judge, related to the item that's on the agenda and beyond that a little bit, I guess, too, Aaron, we have not approved the 16 properties that formally through the court for buyout. And I'm wondering, some of these auxiliary contracts that we're using and we're approving like tonight, should we somehow go ahead and pre-authorize so that the moment funds are available? Because, the federal government right now is kind of like, hey, here you go, and then nope, we changed our mind the next minute. Is there a way that we can go ahead and elaborate or expand some of these contracts like this tonight to be ready for when that comes up beyond the 20 that we've approved so far?
So I hear what you're saying, but the only issue that I have with that is that
Special meeting.
would
Yeah.
increase the cost over the threshold that a quote system would allow. We would have to go out for competitive bid and advertise. And so in this situation, we wouldn't be able to add the 16.
In this exact instance,
Yeah.
but if there's
Right.
any other way that we can, I'd be supportive, and that makes sense for this exact contract, but, okay.
Aaron, thank you very much.
Thanks.
We're not gonna ask any else, because I'm gonna get in trouble,
Okay.
so. Thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you all.
Appreciate you bringing in two bids to us. It was a great conversation. All righty, next is Miss Belinda. and
Hello.
Kelly with her tonight. Yeah.
So this is approval for the application of a Second Chance Act for incarcerated parents and their minor children grant from the Department of Justice with the Wanda Joyce Robinson Foundation, Thornhill Education Center, and Family Learning Center as the subrecipients for work to benefit children, youth, and families impacted by incarceration in Franklin County. The Franklin County Attorney's Office will also participate in the project. And we plan to apply for $750,000 over a 3-year grant period with no required match. So it's $250,000 a year. This is the same grant that the Wanda J. Robinson Foundation has been using for the past 3 years and ends this fiscal year. So this would be a renewal of that. We were going to apply last year, but then the grant got canceled and they just brought it back, which is why we're doing it now. They changed some of the objectives of the grant. And so Wanda J. Robinson, Thornhill, and Family Learning Center decided that it would be a better fit to meet the goals if they collaborated. So we have Amy Snow, I think, is here virtually, and of course Kelly's here live and in person if you all have any questions. The other thing I wanted to mention is 5% or $12,500 per year will be budgeted for Fiscal Court to cover our administrative costs.
Thank you.
Yeah, so when Belinda and everyone brought this to us, it was a big conversation. That's one of the first things we talked about, because I know when we did the first one to Joyce, it cost us a good little bit of money. So Belinda talked to Amy and everybody as far as what time it would take, and that's how we came up with that number. I do want to thank the jailer and her staff, Max and his staff. I'm going to get Kelly to get up here and talk about it for a minute. This was truly a team effort, you know. It was somebody who said, hey, this is a good idea, let's go this way. As we talked about it as a group, we said it's a great idea, but we should go that way. And I think what you've brought us is a really strong case that I think really has the potential of winning this grant. So
I do think the collaborative nature of this
Yeah.
application will make us more competitive. There's only going to be probably 5 awards nationwide.
Yep.
With that said, though, I think there was only 7 awards the year that Wanda J.
Yes.
won the first time, so that doesn't
Yep.
put us out of the running.
Yep. Kelly, if you don't mind, why don't you come up, because you kind of were a big part of this with NCFL, and think
Don't
you-
mind my peg leg.
Yep, so, obviously Kelly's with Thornhill Learning Center, which we can't say enough good things about what you and your team are doing there.
Well, I will
So
tell you
thank
this, because there's been a couple things that, I saw you were at the Kentucky Career Center. Thornhill is a partner with the Kentucky Career Center. We do internship programs, and if you're under the age of 25, you can get up to $6,000 to do an internship. And we do that with our students, so then we can get them employed. The other thing I wanted to say, if you're above 25, they get a little fickle. The other thing I wanted to say is workforce development. KYAE, Kentucky Adult Education, that gives us the biggest portion of our grant. We are under the umbrella of Kentucky Workforce Development. And so we do workforce development and do what's called integrated education, training, et cetera, et cetera. So I just wanted to make sure, because I think sometimes we think GEDs, and I just want to make sure we know that. Yes, this was brought to me by the NCFL, and the NCFL has been huge in this and have basically said, we will write the grant with collaboration with Belinda, and we will do the majority of the work. We have talked to Mr. Comley about, we want to fund part of this for his office as well as Fiscal Court, because that's important. And then there'd be a portion of it going to Thornhill and Wanda Joyce Robinson Foundation. We would still provide, we still do provide services in the jail regardless. Our thing would be, everything that we want to do in the jail would be at the discretion of the jailer, Ms. Hopper, and we want to make sure security is always at the utmost, priority. It just seemed to me, and I probably did push it a little bit, it seemed to me that in order to get this, I thought, in my mind, I'm like, $750,000 over 3 years? Let's go. But I always have the fear when you get a big grant and then you don't do anything else for that grant, you probably won't get it. So why not bring us all together and get this thing, and all it's going to do is help Franklin County, period. Questions? Mr.
Now, I do
Blackburn.
want to state NCFL, for anybody watching, is the National Center for Family Literacy, that we're the pilot program for North America that is run through Thornhill Education Center. So, and yes, the workforce thing, Penny and I talked about that extensively as far as tying you in Thornhill, because it makes the most sense, because we know you are doing some of that already. So.
Well, and anyone that knows me knows I'll do whatever.
Yeah. So,
Judge, we need to send her away for a week and let her chill, because she literally never stops, and I talk to her at 10 o'clock at night. Like, she does not ever, which is why she's broken right now. She doesn't slow down.
I'm on week 7 of this boot, and tomorrow I'm probably going to get put in a cast again. But yet, Mr. Comley, I had to go up those stairs one meeting. I'm looking for the elevator. No, and it was interesting, because Penny mentioned we got to do what's best for Franklin County. I didn't live here 3 years. I didn't live here 3 years ago. I live in Franklin County. This is important to me.
Squire Tanner.
I have a question which is really not exactly related to this.
Sure it is.
Does this type organization, or Wanda Joyce, whatever, available in other counties?
Wanda Joyce Robinson is only available in Franklin County.
Or similar organization?
I do not think there is anything similar to what they are doing at this time. When they applied for this grant 2.5, 3 years ago, they were one of a kind. And their actual grant administrator said, this is something people aren't doing. They are very unique. And the great collaborative thing about this is they're in my basement. We talk every day. I can yell down my 85-year-old building vent and say, I need to see you right now. Like, this is a great situation for us to actually take some costs away from the fiscal court. If we can provide money to the district attorney for some of his positions, and that is worked into that budget.
Any other questions for Kelly or Belinda, or, I don't know if Amy ever got on there? Squire Wisman.
I guess just my thought always goes to, and we've talked about in this court a couple of times about grants, and we get a big one, and that's great, and you create all this infrastructure and momentum, and then you don't get the next one. Can you talk a little bit about what's the alternative for sustainability of the organization if we don't get this? And has there been any? Because I haven't heard any of those conversations just yet, but in my mind, we have some opioid funds obviously that go to this exact type of thing, but eventually we're going to be out of those funds, and I want to see the program continue. So is there?
So in terms, I can only speak for Thornhill. We will do everything possible to provide services. We will be in the jail no matter what, unless she kicks me out, which she might do. But in terms of that, I feel pretty confident about that grant. That's workforce development. We do fundraising. NCFL has given us many grants. Yes, everything is very much tied into grants. For me, and again, I can't speak on Wanda Joyce, and Amy can speak on that. I am going contract funding. I am not doing salaries. It's just contract labor, and that is it. Because that's what I'm scared of as well. And I think that that's an excellent point. And obviously, we're always looking for more money from everybody, but I feel like we're in a really good place right now, and I guess my situation was, what's the harm? What's the harm in trying for a 3-year grant? Why not try?
Kelly, thank you. And I want to thank Belinda and NCFL for working on this, and let's keep our fingers crossed. How cool would it be to Squire Tanner, answer your question is, even when I went to DC with Elizabeth 2 years ago, and she presented with the other organizations across North America, nobody that I know of is dealing with kids whose parents are incarcerated. So I think that's one of a kind right there, which we should all be super proud of, because that still blows me away.
Well, it might not be as much competition for the grant.
You're right, and I believe that it went down, so this grant went off the table last year. So we didn't even think it was a possibility until the NCFL contacted us. And I think that we need to, not that we're giving accolades today, but Judge Mueller has really cultivated an incredible partnership with the NCFL, and they have been so kind and generous with us. And if we had not cultivated that relationship, I think a lot of this is not possible. So I thank you.
Thank you. And Squire Wisman, I think as far as funding, I know Wanda Joyce is getting other funding from other places so they can continue. So I agree with you there. It's hard to get this money and then you run out of it in 3 years, and what do? How do you keep it going? But
My question was more just what's the harm if we don't get this one?
Yeah.
Work directly.
Yeah.
Well, and do we make improvements for 3 years?
Yeah.
And
And hopefully the
I
economy's
agree.
better
I'm
by
scared
then.
to death every day.
Yep. Kelly, thank you.
Thank
Belinda,
you.
thank you very much. Good luck. Alrighty, next I believe I'm going to let Mr. County Attorney talk about this next agenda item.
If the court will recall, back several months ago, we had to approve another settlement in the opioid litigation that we have. There is another settlement with 6 defendants that the total of that is $97,625,000. As far as what each entity will get off of that, I don't think that has been determined yet. However, in order to share in a portion of that, we have to enter into this resolution and sign those documents. So this is just a continuation of the litigation that's been going on for several years.
Any questions for Max on this agenda item? Squire Wisman.
Max, I was just wondering, you sort of said it there, but is there any indication of how many entities this amount is going to be divided amongst, and is it equally among them all, or is there any idea how much we might? I expected not, but
Yeah, not what we've been provided so far. It's really just they're asking if we want to get on the lawsuit, and if so, we need court approval for me to sign it. That's about all they've given us, right, Max?
Correct.
Yep.
So expected.
Yep. Alrighty, Max, thank you. Next, I believe Greg Fry is with us. Good evening, Greg.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
All right, so what do we have here? We're going from maintenance technician to assistant director of maintenance.
Yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory with Adam and how long he's been here, and, you know, his skill set just fits the role perfectly for that position right now. If anyone has any questions,
So just to reiterate so everybody understands, so the thought is that because we had a retirement,
Yes.
that Adam's main position will be to take care of the judicial center, correct?
yes, I mean, he still would assist in some areas, but, you know, his focus would be judicial center.
Okay. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. And just for the court clarity, he is a part-time employee now,
He's currently part-time.
and he would remain that in this role.
As of now.
Yep, as of
He has
that-
expressed, he had some personal issues that he had to step away for to be part-time, but he's
Right.
expressed interest in coming back full-time eventually one day, but right now at part-time.
But for the item before us, it is part-time to part-time, just so
Yes.
everyone's clear.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank you,
and-
Judge.
And, you know, even at part-time, he's the person for that job right now.
Absolutely.
Yep, good. Yeah, I don't think anybody's arguing, but that's a good point. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Squire Wiseman, do you have a hand up?
Yeah, I was just wondering if someone could explain the pay staying the same. It seems like it's an increase in title and maybe not responsibilities, but just to be the employee's advocate, always I think that, you know, I'm always saying we need to be competitive.
Let our
but maybe
maintenance
there's an
director answer
explanation
that one.
that you
I
all have.
believe we were waiting till the new budget year to change the pay
Okay, so
scale.
the intent is coming.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
that's what I was expecting, but, okay.
All right, Greg, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
thanks again
Have a
for
good
all
evening.
you do for Franklin County. And yeah,
Well, the whole team, it's not just me.
absolutely, it is the team.
So-
Squire Sebastian, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank Greg and the ladies from SAP for
Yeah.
today and what you all did yesterday.
We're
Train
very-
looks
very-
great.
I'm very thankful for them to be able to do things like that for the county, so.
Looks great. Thank you.
Greg's only request is that he gets to sit in the front cart the first ride.
Hey,
That's all he's asked. I mean, the whole thing. He just wants to be in it.
I'm gonna put him in that wooden one.
Yeah,
We're gonna,
exactly.
Like trail
well,
him
I'll
on.
sit in the pink one with my daughter.
There you go.
Greg, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Alrighty, and now it looks like Amy, our treasurer, is with us. Good evening, Amy. How are you?
Good evening, I'm fine.
Thank you for being with us.
So this, the purpose of this agenda item, Franklin County was awarded $297,209.19 of FEMA funds, and that was for the weather event from February of '25 through March of '25. And of that, the sheriff's portion was $118,151.08. And I would like your authorization to apply that to their January 2026 payroll reimbursement.
And I just want to point out to the court to make sure everybody heard that right. This is for the February storm, the first flood, not the big one. So, but
Right.
yes, yeah. Thank you very much. What do you have next, Amy?
We have received, or we haven't received them yet, I'm expecting them any day. The grant, the GRANT, the program funds for the Farmdale Sanitation District Sewer Consolidation Project. And when they come in, we are allowed to invest those. The interest can be used for the general fund. So I'm requesting permission to invest that $1.250 million. And then we also received reimbursement from the AOC for the ServPro invoices for the flooding at the Judicial Center, and that money is available. It's 2.1. So I have not received rates or terms yet, so I would like authorization to shop around, get the best rate for the best term, and be able to reinvest those as needed.
Amy, if I could ask real quick before I open it up, the 2.1 from AOC, Are we even Steven now, or
No.
do we still have some out?
We will need, we have received everything that initial MOU
Right.
was for. We need to do an amendment to that. I'm
Okay.
working with Aaron.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. All right, Squire Tanner.
Got one question. You said all of this interest, is it the $1.5 million or $1,250,000, that's for the sewer, is that
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Does that interest stay with the sewer?
No, we get to use it.
We get it.
Yes.
How come we wouldn't put it to the sewer development?
Well, if the court so wishes to do
I'm
that,
just
then
questioning,
that can happen.
The $1,250,000 is designated for the sewer.
It is.
But we have to receive it, and staff has to do work in regard to that. To receive the money, do things with the money. And just like, yes, and just like we assessed an administrative fee, I'm not saying it's an administrative fee.
I don't know what
I'm not-
interest you might get on it, but I mean, I don't know, it'd be pretty good. Maybe
Sorry.
3.5, close to 4.
And it's going to be short-term. They're going to probably, I would say, 1 or 2 months, so it's not going to be a whole lot of interest. But we are allowed to keep that in the general fund.
All righty, what other questions do we have for Squire Sebastian?
May I add one other thing? Possibly early in your term, we forgave an outstanding debt to the Farmdale Sanitation District. So I think this would also assist us in remaining whole in that regard. It was not a lot, but for them at the time, it was quite a bit.
All I know is very important that they get that sewer line finished, and we're short some funds, and I would have thought that would have gone toward that, but if it's not the desire of anybody else, just forget I brought it up.
Well, and I think it will depend on how long it's in there. Like Amy said, it might just be a month or two, so it might not even be worth talking about, you know, so, we'll just see how it goes, how the project goes. But we do have an ask with the state and with the feds, and we're still in the ballpark for playing, and there's a good thought that we're gonna get the rest of the 6.5 to finish phase 2 of the project.
I hope my concern is immaterial.
Yep, I hope so too. Squire Westman.
So Amy, you mentioned that short-term, for both of those, are you anticipating the need is going to be to expend those within 3-month period for both funds, or?
No, just the 1.250 will be short-term, the 2.1 will be longer.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Amy, what do we have next? Treasurer
The
report?
treasurer's report for the 8 months ending February 28th of '26, receipts 31.2 million, expenditures 33.1. Adding in the fund balance as of June 30th, '25, brings our balance to 27.8 million. And we do have 1 more quarter of insurance premium tax as well as occupational tax, and then the full year of net profit will still hit this budget year as well. And then I've also included revenues and expenses as of March 20th.
All right, any questions for Amy on the treasurer's report? Is that a hand up, Squire Tanner, or?
No,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
I had
Sure.
some questions earlier, they should answer.
It's still up, so. All righty, Amy, why don't we go ahead to the budget transfers, please?
I'm bringing budget transfers before you almost every court. I'm so proud of our department heads for staying on top of this. So we've got one from planning and zoning, park, fire, and the sheriff fund also has a request for an insurance deductible. I have all the detail in your abstract. That does not affect the budget. We're just moving from one line item to another.
Any questions, concerns, comments on these transfers? All righty, cash transfers.
And then this is my final agenda item. It's cash transfer. I usually do these quarterly. Revenue is needed for the road, jail, and fire, and we're moving that from the general fund. And then the clerk fund has that excess fee amount that we're moving back into the general fund, holding that for the deed room floor.
And all these you've anticipated?
They're budgeted.
Just making All righty, Amy, thank you very much, and
Thank
look
you.
forward to spending more time with you next week, maybe, you know? All righty, payment of claims for Kim. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, comments for Kim on claims to be paid? Penny, thank you. Have a good evening. For Sebastian?
Sorry, Judge, it just closed on me. Hang on,
okay.
let me get to it. It had to do with the jail, and it had to do with the medical. I apologize.
That's okay.
I've just now gotten back to it finally.
Yeah.
Which is,
What page you on, please?
Judge, there's not a page number on it, which I apologize, because it's just under jail fund court bills with no page attached
Okay.
to that.
Trying to get everybody in the same spot.
Yes, sir. The account number is 0351011343. There are 2 pharmacy overages there, in addition to what
Yeah.
our regular cost pool is
Yep.
and our medical. But, you know, that's fairly substantial. It's like probably about $42,000 additional in pharmacy overages.
I don't know if Kim can answer that. We might have to send an email to the
Probably
court.
not,
Yeah, yeah.
but just, I guess the only thing that I'm noting, and while we were in the finance committee, I asked several questions about the veracity of the numbers that we were gonna see in the budget
Yeah.
from the jail. So I haven't tallied up everything at the end of the year in that, and I can go back and make sure and add this to the total that's in the budget, that's in the tab before this, to see where we are. But I think we need to make sure we take a long, hard look at that. So we're not surprised with the cost, because
Yeah.
we never know what they're gonna be.
No, but it might be worth to have them come back into town to meet with us during one of our next meetings.
So I just
Yeah.
continued, unfortunately,
Yeah.
to bring that up,
Yep.
because it's the nature of that.
Yep, no, I think
Unfortunately.
that'd be wise.
So I just called the court, you know, that's about $42,000 more
Yep.
that we didn't anticipate being in this line item that we're gonna have to pay out.
Squire Dacus.
Thank you.
So I talked to the jailer earlier, just about these costs, and my understanding is that their costs are going up considerably. They really like working with the healthcare company that we have. I think they do a good job for them, even though I've had an issue
Yeah.
here or there, but I think they do a really good job for them, and I think that healthcare costs are just going through
Yeah.
the roof for everybody, and so
She said that in the finance committee.
we're going to see these overages. I don't know how to get around. She said everybody that's coming through the door is sicker and sicker, and that, we stick people in jail that don't need to be in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just the truth of the matter, and then we have to pay for their medical expenses.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we're gonna do with that, but I don't know that there's a lot we can do with
No, I still think it'd be good. We had them in, a year ago?
We did.
They came in,
We did.
and they were very nice and open, so I think it's maybe, especially during budget season, be able
Maybe
to
they
get
can
them
come
back
to a
and have
finance committee
conversation.
meeting
Yeah.
like they did last time.
Yeah.
That seemed helpful.
Yeah.
Judge,
Yeah.
I'd like to reiterate, they came in and met with the whole court, I think 2 years ago, perhaps it was. I'd like to have them come do that again. At that time, they had some recommendations about some better services, better quality of life services, and I've requested some follow-up on that, I think 3 times now. This will be the 4th, that we haven't got. I don't know if anyone ever made the request, but they had also some recommendations about some ways that we could save some costs through providing some other services. I'd like to see them come back and give us sort of the gamut of what they can provide, because we never did explore all of those.
Okay, I think first thing is, let me meet with the jailer, and we'll get that ball rolling, and then we'll go from there. That's okay with everybody?
Yeah. The nature of this was discussed in finance, the
Yeah.
nature, and what was shared in finance, to Squire Dykes' point, was the costs are increasing.
Yeah.
Our overall charge per that budget that was submitted was to try and account for those things now, so that we don't have drastic surprises when we're in the budget year and we're going through things like our treasurer talked about. While she's able to account for some things, There's some things we are not, and we already know that the things are tightening up,
Yep.
and we're trying to be very cognizant of that. So just,
And we budgeted before, knowing expenses were going up, and we're told
Yep.
kind of the percentages we should shoot for, and we
Yep.
did that, and
But-
we still saw overages,
yes,
substantial. So
Yes.
it's something we need to
thank
drive
you.
attack in.
Thank you. I appreciate someone coming to my aid here. I feel like I hang out there naked on this stuff.
Yep. So, what other questions do we have? Are we good to go into closed session?
Yes. You ready for a
Alrighty,
motion?
authorization to go into closed session per KRS 61.8101C, discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of the public agency.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We're in closed. a motion to go into open session?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We are open. All right, since this is a special meeting, there's no other business, so we're going to go into the voting session. So clerk, please call roll.
Squire Sebastian.
Here.
Squire Blackburn.
Present.
Squire Dykus. Here. Squire Harrod.
Here.
Squire Tanner.
Here.
Squire Wisman.
Present.
Judge Mueller.
Present. Thank you, clerk. Authorization for approval of minutes from the regular meeting of March 4, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to receive the county clerk's 2025 excess fees.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to receive the 2026-2027 proposed jail budget.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to receive the Capital Community Economic Industrial Authority, Inc., DBA Develop Frankfurt annual budget for fiscal year 2026-2027.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to award a bid to Greg Helton, best bidder for appraisal, technical review services for Franklin County's Natural Resource Conservation NRCS, Emergency Watershed Protection, EWP, Home Buyout Program, contingent upon submission of proof of SAM.gov compliance within 15 days. The county judge has the authority to extend the deadline if requested.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution to apply for a Second Chance Act addressing the needs of incarcerated parents in the Minor Children Grant with the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Judicial Justice Delinquency Prevention to serve as a recipient of the Wanda Joyce Robinson Foundation, Thornhill Education Center, and the National Center for Family Learning as subsidiaries.
So moved.
Kirk, did you get that?
Dykus. Harrod.
Yeah.
Perfect. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay, and I want to wish them all well. That would be an amazing thing for Franklin County. Authorization to approve a resolution of the Fiscal Court of the County of Franklin, Kentucky, county authorizing, approving, and directing the execution of the necessary documentation for the county to participate in the national opioid litigation settlement with 6 defendant settlements and approval of remnant defendant settlement plan.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a promotion of Adam Heyman from maintenance technician to assistant director of maintenance.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get that, clerk?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Congratulations, Adam. Authorization to approve a resolution authorizing the allocation of FEMA proceeds to payroll for the Franklin County Sheriff's Office.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Thank you, Sheriff. Authorization to authorize the treasurer to open the following certificate of deposit of 1.250000 with the best rate on behalf of the fiscal court to improve investment earnings.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I want to explain my vote.
Okay.
I have a problem with this, with the part of, I'm 100% for investing this money and Amy negotiating the best rate that we can possibly get. But that money's should not go in the general fund. It should go to the expansion of the sewer district at Farmdale. I understand some comments that were made earlier, but if you forgive a loan, you've forgiven it. That means you don't owe it anymore. And so I would certainly think that if it makes $100, it's $100 they need. But I will support it because Amy needs to invest the money. So that's the explanation of my yes vote.
Okay. Squire Sebastian.
I'm only going to make a comment that the comments were made only for reference to something that happened in the past. It was not to say if it was right or if it was wrong. It was only to educate people who may not have been on the court. We hear a lot of times, I didn't know about that because I wasn't on the court then. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All righty. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to authorize the treasurer to open the following certificate of deposit of 2.100000 with the best rate on behalf of the fiscal court to improve investment earnings.
So moved. Second.
Did you get that, clerk?
Yes.
You're quick.
Oh, yeah, quick. Everyone likes investing that money. I mean, everyone's jumping on that one. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to receive treasurer's
So
report.
moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. It's not as fun, is it?
It's not.
Treasurer's report. It's not investing millions. Authorization to approve budget transfers for fiscal year 2025-2026.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get that, clerk?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve cash transfers for fiscal year 2025-2026.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Payment of claims. Is there a motion to deny any payment of claim? No motion was made. Let the records reflect claims are to be paid. Authorization to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. We're adjourned. Thank you, court. Good meeting.
Hold on.